Hi, everybody. I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk to you today and tell you a little bit about winter break, both for me as someone who's living in Austria, or as an American living in Austria, and someone from the United States who knows a little bit about the traditional celebrations over on the other side of the ocean. So, to start, I just thought I'd give you an overview of what I did over winter break. For me, I spend most of my time relaxing. And going on a lot of walks with my housemates, going on runs, exploring Linz a little bit since I've been primarily in Linz. I did not get a chance to go home and see my family um, over break, which was unfortunate, but because of the current situation, it just happened to happen that way. But I did get a chance to see more of the city that I'm currently living in, so that was really nice. And really enjoyed just having a bit of a break from academics, as I'm sure all of you enjoyed as well. The traditions that I could talk about for winter breaks in both the United States and Austria, they're not very different from each other. The main difference, I would say, with in the United States is that we have a little bit more time, especially if someone's in going to university, because a lot of times, at least with the university that I went to, the students, the international students especially, need time to fly home and see their families. So they have just more time built in to the traditional breaks. But other than that, the the winter looks very similar. You have exams before, depends on the school, but most of the schools have exams right before the winter break so that students can relax. And although some schools have exams after the break, which is always frustrating, of course, when you have to study during your days off. But at least it's a little bit more relaxing than having to go to school every day. What I did over this break, like I said, mostly relaxing, but the best moment, I think, was how I celebrated New Year's. I went and visited a friend in a really small town in Austria. She's also teaching there, and we hiked up a small mountain and just got a chance to see all of the mountains surrounding that little hill that we hiked up to, and then stayed in a small hut that belongs to a friend of hers for the New Year's celebration, which was really wonderful just to get a chance to get away from civilization for a little bit and to see a little bit more of the Austrian countryside outside of Linz. So what we did is we hiked up to this hut. We drank a lot of punch and homemade punch and played a lot of card games until the clock struck midnight, and then we went outside and drank sekt and listened to the Austrian radio, which I was told you're supposed to do at midnight, to listen to the waltz that happens after the clock strikes. As far as the United States goes, there are a couple of traditions, excuse me, a couple of traditions that are, well, maybe just one tradition. It's kind of funny. I don't know if this is all over the world or whether this is just in America, but generally when the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, you're supposed to find someone to kiss, to sort of ring in the new year with. And the funny thing is there's this big celebration every year in Times Square in New York, and they call it waiting for the ball to drop. There's a large like metal ball that at midnight sort of comes down and marks the beginning of the new year. And so it's broadcasted on television, and they have a lot of journalists who sort of cover the event. And something that happened last year, and I'm sure in previous years as well, was that one of the broadcasters, it was a woman, and as the clock struck midnight, you're supposed to find someone to kiss, and she just grabbed a random policeman and kissed him and was just like come here, we're ringing in the new year together, which I thought was pretty funny. But it's an interesting and slightly weird tradition anyway you look at it. Another thing that people do in the United States is, as well as all over the world, they make New Year's resolutions. and I'm sure you're familiar with this concept, but it's basically identifying goals that you have for the coming year, things that you'd like to accomplish, things that you'd like to get better at, or just generally things you would like to do. And I don't generally make very many New Year's resolutions. I prefer identifying things that I want to get better at when they occur to me, and then trying to take steps to do that throughout the year. But one thing that I do want to do in 2021 is I would like to read more books, because I really enjoy reading, but with teaching and with other commitments, it's been hard to find time or to make time to read enough books. So that's something that I've taken upon myself to do, and I would encourage you guys also to think about ways that you can think positively about the coming year and not just dwell on, the difficult year that was 2020. I think what I'm looking forward to the most about the year ahead is the chance to reconnect with more friends and family, the chance to spend more time traveling, perhaps, if that becomes possible, and basically just the chance to enjoy another year in Austria and potentially start with a master's program that I've been looking at doing and been excited about for a while. So I wish you all a wonderful beginning to the new year. I hope you've had wonderful winter breaks, and I encourage you to think about the positive things that await you in 2021. And with that, that's all from me.